What's up everybody? In today's video I will talk about why muscles actually hurt during and after a workout. There are basically three different types of pain related to exercise. The first one is the pain you experience during or immediately after the exercise. The second one is the pain you experience only after the exercise, which is called in technical terminology delayed onset muscle soreness. And the third one is the pain by muscle cramps. And in today's video, I will focus mainly on the first 2 points. Let's first of all talk about the pain during or immediately after the exercise. When I talk about this type of pain, I mean this unpleasant and burning feeling while you do something with a very high intensity. A combination out of different hormones, proteins and acids and a so-called acidosis by a molecule called lactate is responsible for this pain, and also other inflammatory molecules. The higher the intensity, the more lactate accumulates, while the pain stops immediately after you stop the exercise. So let's go a bit deeper into that. As we know, we constantly generate energy to keep ourselves alive. And one of those energy forms is called adenosine triphosphate, or short ATP. And while we are doing sports or are physically active, we obviously need more energy or ATP. There are different ways to generate this ATP. And one of those is the metabolic pathway called glycolysis. In our organism, this is one of the fastest ways to produce energy from a carbohydrate called glucose, a form of sugar. Glycolysis can work aerob and anaerob, that means with the need of oxygen or without. The aerobic pathway can produce much more energy than the anaerobic one, but still sometimes it can be when we have a high intensity that our muscles do not get enough oxygen, so that's why our muscles follow the anaerobic pathway. If your muscles are exposed to a high intensity, like mine for example are right now as I'm holding this weight, then your vessels dilate and allow a higher flow of oxygen. This is also necessary to produce the energy needed to hold this weight. But if the intensity is too high, then your muscle switches from an aerobic to an anaerobic pathway. In glycolysis, glucose becomes a molecule called pyruvate after many different transformations. And this pyruvate is then reduced to a molecule called lactate. So what's the problem with the lactate? The lactate itself is actually not the problem. The problem is its acidic form called lactic acid, which has one hydrogen ion additionally. And this hydrogen ion is pretty problematic because it makes the blood and the muscle more acidic, therefore it reduces the uptake of calcium and also reduces the production of ATP. And because the pH changes in the blood, it also inhibits some enzymes, and therefore the muscle cannot work properly. In our muscles we also have pain receptors which recognize this acidity and therefore lead to this burning pain we experience when we have a high intensity. Depending on the intensity, you can usually feel this burn after 30 seconds to 3 minutes. Also, lactic acid can be pretty useful as it can be converted into a molecule called glycogen, therefore it can provide a bit energy, and the newest studies also showed that lactic acid protects against cardiovascular diseases. So what can you do against this pain during the workout? Basically, you should always breathe deeply and normally and also drink a lot so that your whole organism has enough oxygen so that you can follow the aerobic pathway, so that you don't use the anaerobic pathway too much. So now let's talk about the second type of pain, the pain after the workout. This pain has nothing to do with lactate and the pain you experience during a workout, but is experienced more like a sharp and touch-sensitive pain. And I'm sure everybody experienced this type of pain the day after an intensive workout or an uncommon physical activity. In terminology, this is called delayed onset muscle soreness, and it usually occurs 8 to 48 hours after a workout. That's why sometimes you don't experience the pain directly the day after the workout, but only 2 days after that. Especially eccentric muscle contractions are responsible for this pain. There are basically 3 different types of muscle contractions: the isometric ones, concentric ones and eccentric ones. I will talk in another video more detailed about those 3 contractions, so make sure to subscribe. Especially eccentric muscle contractions are responsible for the muscle damage, and this muscle damage leads to inflammations. So what exactly happens? When you have a high-intensity workout, you basically irreversibly destroy your sarcomeres or your muscle fibers. These microtraumas lead to inflammations, and these inflammations lead to the attraction of the immune system. The immune system then degrades those damaged muscle fibers and substitutes them with better and stronger ones, which can resist to the new type of intensity. That's why if you do the same exercise again, you will not feel the exact same type of pain or soreness after the workout, because your muscles are already used to this intensity. Why does it take 8 to 48 hours until we feel this pain? The reason is that we are, after the damage, acutely filled with all of those inflammatory cytokines, and therefore we do not really feel the pain immediately. But after those cytokines go away, then we can really feel the damage, because our nervous system then reacts to that. What can you do against this type of soreness? What helps very much is, first of all, ice baths, because they put the inflammation down, or also massages are very good for the regeneration of the muscle. And the third type of pain are the muscle cramps. There are many different reasons why people get muscle cramps. For example, imbalance of electrolytes, muscle temperature changes, dehydration, or in general abnormal neuronal signaling. By the way, the muscle cramps are extremely painful, and the best thing you can do against them is stretching, because when you stretch, you can inhibit the motor neuron activity. Alright guys, I hope with this video I could explain the 3 different types of pain and the pain we experience during a workout or after a workout. Take care and see you next time.